One quiet afternoon in Blackstone, Massachusetts, a horrifying discovery came to light. It all began when a neighbor's 10-year-old son, who was playing at Erica Murray's house, called his mom in a panic. He had found a crying baby and didn't know what to do. Betsy Brown, the boy's mom, rushed over to help, but nothing could have prepared her for what she found inside. The smell hit her as soon as she walked in, and the sight was even worse. Garbage piled everywhere, bugs crawling around, and human waste smeared on the walls. In one room, she found two little girls, one of them just a baby, crying and covered in filth. Betsy was horrified, but she had no idea this was only the start of the nightmare. Hidden in the house were secrets even darker, secrets that would shock the entire neighborhood and reveal the tragic truth about what had been happening behind closed doors. Erica Murray was born in 1983 in the United States, the third child of Kevin and Sharon Murray. The family lived in a rural home in southern Worcester County, Massachusetts, the same house where Kevin had spent his childhood. Kevin worked as an auto mechanic, handling repairs around the house, while Sharon was a homemaker with a passion for crafts. Known throughout the neighborhood for their cheerful and sociable nature, the Murrays often hosted barbecues, bringing families together. As a child, Erica was described by those who knew her as charming, happy, and beautiful. She was fortunate to have two older siblings who enjoyed playing games like baseball and hide and seek with her. During her teenage years in the late 1990s, Erica became increasingly conscious of her appearance, always ensuring her hair was perfectly styled and her nails immaculate. She was known as a diligent student and a responsible, goal-oriented young woman. Before graduating from high school, Erica took a job at a fast food chain, where she met Raymond Rivera, a man 7 years her senior. Little is known about Raymond's life, except that he had a sister named Christine and also worked at the same restaurant. The two quickly became friends, and their relationship soon turned romantic. At first, their connection seemed loving and understanding, but it eventually shifted into a dynamic of control and possessiveness. In 2001, at the age of 18, Erica discovered she was pregnant. The news plunged her into a personal crisis. She was mortified at the thought of attending her graduation visibly pregnant. However, a close friend convinced her not to miss the milestone event. On July 17, 2001, shortly after graduating, Erica gave birth to her first child, a daughter named Kayla. The young family, Erica, Raymond, and their baby, moved in with Erica's parents. By 2003, Erica was pregnant again, and the growing family outgrew the space in her parents' home. Between 2003 and 2004, they relocated to Raymond's sister Christine's house in Blackstone, Massachusetts, where Erica gave birth to her second child, Nicola. On the surface, everything seemed idyllic. Erica frequently shared moments of joy on social media, posting birthday celebrations and details about cooking meals for her kids. The children attended school and appeared well-adjusted, presenting the image of a happy, normal family. However, behind the facade, the household descended into chaos. Over time, their home became a cluttered, unsanitary mess, though no one in their community seemed to notice. The children continued to attend school, their appearance never raising suspicion. Erica maintained her online persona, sharing updates about her daily life, including washing dishes and preparing meals. Many followers admired her seemingly picture-perfect family life. Erica worked as a sales associate at a craft store in Whiteville, but her real life began unraveling. Friends and family noticed significant changes in her. Once elegant and confident, she now dressed in baggy clothes, appeared disheveled, and rarely left the house. Erica withdrew further into isolation, which her family attributed to embarrassment over her home's disorder. But the reality was far darker. The harrowing truth Erica Murray had been hiding came to light on an ordinary afternoon thanks to her neighbor, Betsy Brown. Betsy's 10-year-old son had gone over to play with Erica's son when, after some time, he called his mother in distress. The boy was desperately asking for help to calm a crying baby. Betsy, surprised to hear there was an infant in Erica's home, decided to check the situation herself. As soon as Betsy stepped inside the Murray household, she was struck by a nauseating stench. The scene before her was shocking. The house was in an extreme state of filth and decay. The windows were covered with blankets and sheets, casting the home in darkness. Trash was piled everywhere. Rats and insects scurried in plain sight, and maggots infested various corners. Clothes and human waste were scattered across the floor. Following her son's cries, Betsy made her way to a room where she expected to find a single baby, but the reality was far worse. Inside, she discovered not one, but two children. One was an infant around 5 months old, and the other was a toddler about 3 years old. This revelation was shocking to Betsy, who had always believed Erica only had two children, a 13-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. The two young girls were lying in separate beds, crying and rocking themselves violently back and forth. Their frail bodies were covered in filth and maggots, and they appeared to have been abandoned. Betsy, horrified by what she had seen, immediately called emergency services. She described to the operator the horrifying state of the home: human waste smeared on the walls, baby handprints in filth, dirty diapers scattered everywhere, and baby bottles teeming with maggots. The police in Blackstone, Massachusetts, responded quickly to the call. What they encountered upon arrival was devastating: an unsanitary environment where children were living without proper hygiene, food, or medical care. This wasn't the first time authorities had been alerted to the conditions in Erica's home. In 2007, Massachusetts Child Protection Services had investigated the residence after receiving complaints about its squalid state. However, at that time, officials claimed they found no clear evidence of child neglect, and no further action was taken. This lack of intervention allowed the situation to deteriorate unchecked for years. This time, the authorities acted decisively. The Department of Children and Families took custody of all 4 children: Erica's 13-year-old daughter, 10-year-old son, and the 2 younger girls. The children were immediately subjected to medical evaluations, which revealed alarming findings. The 3-year-old girl was so malnourished she lacked the muscle strength to sit up without assistance. She was also highly sensitive to light. The 5-month-old infant had a flattened head, a condition caused by being left lying down for extended periods. Neither of the younger girls had birth records, and both were severely underweight, stark evidence of prolonged neglect. The older children's conditions were equally troubling. Both the 10-year-old boy and the 13-year-old girl were found to have severe ear infestations of maggots, and the buildup of earwax was so extreme that their eardrums were obscured. These findings painted a grim picture of years of extreme neglect and abandonment. When Erica was informed of her children's removal and the dire conditions they had been living in, her reaction shocked authorities. She showed little emotion, agreeing that the children should not remain in such an environment, but displaying no visible concern over their well-being. Instead, she seemed preoccupied with the disappearance of her pet cat, a response that left many questioning her mental state and capacity for empathy. Days after the initial intervention, police conducted a more thorough search of Erica's home, armed with a warrant. What they uncovered was even more disturbing. During this second inspection, investigators found human remains in 2 separate closets. The decomposed bodies of 3 infants were discovered, one wrapped in adult sweatpants with the umbilical cord and placenta still attached. The condition suggested that the baby had been left to die shortly after birth. These gruesome discoveries highlighted an unimaginable level of neglect and disregard for human life. The remains were taken to the medical examiner's office for analysis, but the advanced state of decomposition made it difficult to determine how long the infants had been deceased. Forensic experts speculated the deaths could have occurred weeks or even years before their discovery, deepening the tragedy. The forensic report revealed that one of the infants might have been born alive, though the medical examiner could not confirm this definitively due to the condition of the remains. The discovery of these horrifying details, combined with the possibility that at least one baby had survived birth, sent shockwaves through the community and triggered intense media scrutiny of Erica Murray. When questioned by the police about whether she had given birth to other children who did not survive, Erica initially denied it. However, upon being informed that infant remains had been found in her home, she admitted to one birth, claiming the baby was stillborn. In a recorded interview, Erica stated that she panicked after discovering the baby wasn't breathing and placed the body in a closet. Hours later, in a second interrogation, detectives informed her that 2 more sets of remains had been found. Initially, she maintained that these babies had also been stillborn, but under pressure, she confessed that one of them, a baby girl, had lived for about a week before passing away. Erica explained that she had found the baby unresponsive and blue. When asked why she didn't call for emergency help or attempt to revive the child, she replied that she had been paralyzed by fear. Erica revealed that she had delivered these babies in secret, using the bathtub while her family slept. She admitted feeling trapped and unable to escape her situation. She feared that Raymond, her partner, would leave her if he discovered the pregnancies and births, leading her to keep each one a secret. This fear underscored her inability to seek help or face the reality of her actions. DNA analysis confirmed that all 7 children were Erica and Raymond's. Both were arrested. Raymond, visibly distraught, claimed he had no idea that the 2 young girls were his daughters or that 3 infants had died and been hidden in the house. However, police struggled to reconcile his claims of ignorance. They found it nearly impossible to believe that Raymond, who shared a bedroom with Erica, could have been unaware of her pregnancies. Furthermore, they questioned how he could not have noticed the presence of the 2 young girls in their home until Erica supposedly revealed she was caring for them. Despite these suspicions, authorities lacked sufficient evidence to prove Raymond's full awareness of the situation. Initially, he was charged only with drug-related offenses after investigators found a marijuana-growing operation in the basement. Erica, however, faced a slew of charges, including second-degree murder, concealing a death, assault and battery on a child causing significant injury, reckless endangerment of a child, and 2 counts of animal cruelty related to a dog and a cat removed from the property. As the grim details of the House of Horrors, as it came to be known, emerged, Erica's neighbors began sharing their own observations. One neighbor recalled a foul odor emanating from the house but dismissed it at the time. Another regretted not reporting seeing a dog tied up with a very short leash in the yard. A postal worker mentioned that the house always appeared unkempt, and that the children often ate breakfast in the garage. A former acquaintance from Erica's childhood expressed disbelief, saying she had known Erica to regularly visit her mother with her two older children, but had never seen any other children. At Erica's workplace, where she sold handmade crafts and candles, colleagues reported that she had quit just 2 weeks before the chilling discoveries were made. Meanwhile, one of Raymond's co-workers revealed that Raymond had confided about hygiene and financial problems at home. The co-worker also noted that Raymond often retreated to the basement to cultivate and use marijuana. At work, Raymond maintained a clean appearance, wearing dry-cleaned clothes and keeping a tidy desk adorned with photos of Erica and their two older children. The co-worker remarked that Raymond had once said he couldn't leave Erica despite their problems because he loved her and didn't want to hurt her. The Murray home was condemned and declared uninhabitable, overrun with flies, rats, feces, and piles of used diapers reaching nearly 3 feet high. Hazardous materials teams worked tirelessly to decontaminate the property while searching for additional remains, fearing further discoveries. The cleanup process, which included removing carpets, tearing down contaminated walls, and demolishing shelves, cost over $25,000, a bill that fell to Raymond's sister, who owned the house. Once investigators confirmed no additional remains were hidden, the property was demolished. The case left a lasting scar on the community, raising questions about how such horrific conditions could have persisted unnoticed for so long. In the days following the shocking discoveries, the Murray family's friends, relatives, and neighbors gathered for vigils outside the now demolished house. They left stuffed animals, balloons, and flowers as a tribute to the children. The community remained deeply shaken by the events, even as Erica Murray, 31 at the time, faced her first court hearing in December 2014. Erica pleaded not guilty to all charges. Although initially held without bail, the court set a $1 million bail during the trial, a relatively lenient decision given the gravity of the case. It wasn't until June 2019, 5 years later, that Erica's trial began. Throughout the proceedings, Erica showed little emotion, except when photographs of the infant's remains were displayed in court. Her defense team argued that the 3 deceased infants might have been stillborn, suggesting their deaths were not a result of Erica's negligence. The prosecution, however, maintained that Erica had abandoned and neglected her 5 youngest children, ultimately causing the deaths of 3 of them. Prosecutors presented Erica as a neglectful mother who forced her children to live in squalor among piles of trash, dead animals, dirty diapers, and other filth. They argued that at least one of the infants had been born alive and later died because Erica failed to seek medical attention. The court heard that after moving into the Blackstone home, Erica secretly gave birth to 5 more children, concealing each pregnancy under baggy clothing. Witness testimonies painted a harrowing picture of the conditions in the Murray home. Betsy Brown, the neighbor who discovered the horrors, took the stand to recount the filthy, chaotic environment she encountered. She described baby handprints smeared on walls, human waste, diapers filled with maggots, and the overwhelming stench of decay. Recordings of Erica's police interrogations were played in court. In the footage, she admitted that one of the infants had been born alive but died shortly after. She claimed she panicked and failed to call for help. Her defense attorneys argued that Erica's mental health issues impaired her ability to comprehend the severity of her actions. Forensic psychologists testified that Erica suffered from a personality disorder and had been emotionally abused by her partner, Raymond. They asserted that she genuinely believed she was doing her best as a mother despite the appalling conditions in which her children lived. The defense highlighted Raymond's controlling behavior, noting that he had adamantly opposed having more children for financial reasons, but took no measures to prevent pregnancies, leaving the responsibility entirely on Erica. They suggested that her untreated postpartum depression led her to hide her pregnancies and keep the infant secret, fearing Raymond's reaction if he found out. Prosecutors rejected the argument that Erica acted out of fear or mental illness. They accused her of living a life of secrecy and deception that resulted in the deaths of her children. They contended that Erica knew exactly what she was doing and had ample opportunities to seek help, but chose not to. The judge ultimately determined there was insufficient evidence to prove that some of the infants had been born alive. She noted that while the death of one of the infants was senseless and tragic, the prosecution failed to demonstrate that Erica had directly caused it. As a result, Erica was acquitted of second-degree murder and 2 counts of reckless endangerment of her older children, aged 13 and 10. However, she was found guilty on charges of animal cruelty and assault and battery related to the severe neglect of her 3-year-old and 5-month-old daughters. The judge acknowledged the extraordinary nature of the case, remarking that the victims, Erica's own children, were the most vulnerable and defenseless. Despite the horrifying discoveries, the court could not impose the severe punishment many had hoped for, given the mitigating factors of Erica's mental health. In July 2019, Erica Murray, then 36 years old, was sentenced to 8 years in prison. By the time she received her sentence, she had already served nearly 5 years in custody, meaning she would need to serve an additional 2 to 3 years before being eligible for parole. Her parole conditions, which extended for 5 years, included mandatory mental health treatment and a prohibition on contact with children under 10 years old. 3 months later, on October 29, 2019, Raymond Rivera, 42, reached a plea agreement with prosecutors. He pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including assault and battery on a child causing substantial injury, 2 counts of reckless endangerment of a child, 2 counts of animal cruelty, and 1 count of possession with intent to distribute a Class D substance. Raymond's attorney had previously filed a motion in August 2016 to dismiss the charges, arguing that he never had custody of the 2 neglected children found in the home. However, prosecutors countered, asserting that he was the father and bore responsibility for their welfare. The judge sentenced Raymond to 3.5 years for the assault charge, crediting him for the time he had already served. For reckless endangerment, he received a 4-year sentence in a correctional facility to run concurrently with his prior sentence, with an additional 136 days credited. Raymond was also sentenced to 3 years of probation for the remaining charges. His probation conditions included no unsupervised contact with children under 10, compliance with all service plans from the Department of Children and Families, and adherence to probate court orders. He was also required to undergo substance abuse evaluation and treatment, remain drug-free with random testing, and receive mental health treatment. Raymond's lawyer commented that his client had accepted more responsibility than he should have, given his position at the time, but Raymond wanted to resolve the case and move forward. The most recent information indicated that the couple's 2 oldest children, who were 13 and 10 at the time of the events, had been placed under the guardianship of Raymond's family. Erica Murray had been released from prison by the conclusion of this investigation. As for the 2 young, malnourished daughters found alive in squalid conditions, reports suggested they initially moved through several foster homes. The 3-year-old, referred to by authorities as Liza, made significant progress in her recovery. Conflicting reports about their current whereabouts suggest that, while some sources claim the girls remain in foster care, Others indicate they are living with their paternal grandparents and older siblings. Thanks for tuning in to Unreal True Crime. If you're intrigued by mysteries from around the world, check out our new channel, Latin Crimes, where we dive into the gripping true crime stories of Latin America. Don't miss out. Subscribe now for more thrilling investigations.